need a different chair?
No,
That was scary.
no. You just put that thing in there.
All right, we should have audio now.
No,
Just one click of a button. All right. All right, as I was saying, aside from the marijuana legalization issues that we're seeing, we have started to see an increase in other drug issues, specifically drug overdoses in the area. And the main drug seems to be fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is being mixed with every other drug you can think of, from methamphetamines, heroin, that type of thing. Just this past weekend, the village did have a resident that overdosed. That marks the third resident in the last couple months that we know has had a suspected drug overdose. Just so council is aware, the Waynesfield Police Department does have Narcan in both of our cruisers that we obtained for free from the Allen County Health Department through Project Dawn, which is deaths avoided with naloxone. They provide first responders with free Narcan through a grant through that Project Dawn offered by the state of Ohio. We are now in the second quarter of the school year, and things have been very busy at WG. From a school resource officer perspective, I've been very busy with several investigations, including some involving children's services. Some of the incidences are within the school, but there have been a lot more issues outside of school that kids are disclosing, so it's been very busy. Earlier today, the All-Glades County Sheriff's Office, St. Mary's Police Department, St. Mary's Fire and EMS Department, as well as the Walpock Police Department, and I trained WG staff in a real-world scenario-based training on how to respond to an active threat and how to provide post-incident critical first aid. While the training was in a controlled environment at the school, staff experienced various levels of stress that might be encountered in an actual event. We have learned that having training as close to reality as possible will help equip people in the unlikely event that they're ever in an active threat situation. I think that was very well received. The staff was very appreciative. Most of them had had that training before, but it had been 2 years since they had that training, so it went very, very well today. In fact, I wanted to mention several of the staff members had never even been through the entire school, so we did a tour for everyone to go through, finding all the little nooks and crannies that they had no idea existed. There was one staff member that I talked to that knew pretty much the whole school, but there was even one area that surprised him after being there for 40 years. So it was good to have that training. The final area that I have to discuss tonight is the West Wapakoneta Street no parking. As enclosed in your council packet, several residents have inquired with me about the current no parking allowed on the north side of West Wapakoneta Street, and that will be from the alley west of the traffic light or Church Street area all the way to Dollar General. Now that the roadway is complete, the question was asked, can we remove the no parking restrictions from that area? And there is a map, like I said, that you can kind of see that I've included with your packet. And if council agrees with this action, I have two ordinances for council to consider. They're both similar, but one is written if council wants to do it in 3 readings, and the other is the same ordinance written if council wants to pass it as an emergency. So whichever one, if the council decides wants to do that, that will be fine. And just to mention, from Church Street to the traffic light, currently there is parking on both sides of the street, and the street is the same width in that stretch as it is from the stretch that there's only parking on the one side of the roadway towards Dollar General. So essentially you're making it consistent all the way from the traffic light to Dollar General on both sides of the street. So the question was brought up, well, would it be a traffic hazard for tractors and semis going through there? I would say if we had issues with vehicles parked from the traffic light to Church Street on both sides of the road, I would say that would be a concern, but there hasn't been. So I don't personally see it as an issue at this point, but I know, Tim, you live down in that direction. You may have more of an opinion on what you see, and folks that drive through there often may have different opinions as well. But I told the residents I would bring it up and present it and let council decide.
Those signs belong to us or they belong to the state?
They're ours. The village passed an ordinance, I want to say in the 80s, to make that no parking through there.
You know why they did it?
Well, yeah.
You were probably still in high school, but...
Yeah, in the 80s, I wasn't even in high school. So my best speculation would be the trees in the tree lawn at that time were very large trees that overgrew the road, and when semis would drive down through there, they would brush up against the trees. So to avoid that, they would go left to center around the trees, which would make the road seem narrower than what it was. And so I think to keep the trucks and the tractors from being in those trees, well, those trees are gone now, so it actually looks a lot wider than it did before, even though it was literally the same width as what it was previously.
I think I would be okay with that. Is there a reason why it would have to go all the way to the Dollar General? Because I see maybe a little issue there.
Well, right before the Dollar General, the curbing goes down. It basically goes to where the sidewalk ends. So as far as you can't, already there's legislation that you can't park so many feet within an intersection, within an alley, and all that would be painted accordingly, according to standards. So somebody couldn't park like right at the entrance of Dollar General, or driveways, or fire hydrants, or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it.
I would take it, something we want to do, we put it under new business.
That's what I was gonna say, just so we don't mess up any of the numbers and all that. Just consider it under new business, and you can give it the next.
So add an agenda item under new business. Then on E, and that's an ordinance.
Yep.
It would actually be -5, because you got old business that has.
You're right there, one, you're 23 days before. Be 5, yeah.
If that concludes your report, or when it concludes, I do have
Yes,
questions.
yeah,
Okay.
that's, yep.
On the application for the monies, how much are we applying for?
We are applying for everything. So it's 790,000 and some odd cents. And talking with Susan, I don't know if I have that in here or not. In talking with Susan, she had suggested that we ask for everything. Sometimes, depending on how things go, the state will approve, the caucuses or whatever will approve everything. Sometimes they will say, we'll give funding for this, we'll give funding for that. Now, in that application process, in talking with her staff, the staff said it's really important that the village partner with the state on this. So Aaron and I have talked, and there's a lot of things we can do as far as not necessarily putting up dollars, but putting in labor, having, if we do things in-house, then maybe 25% of a project could be labor, and then the state likes to see that partnership as opposed to just funding a project and handing it to you. It's partnering with it. It looks better in the public's eye to do it that way.
And just for who's actually creating this application?
So I have, the application came from Susan Manchester's office.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I
who's
have,
doing the work?
I have typed everything up. Aaron is reviewing it right now, and then once he's done reviewing it, we'll meet with the community development team and see if there's anything that we've missed, just to have extra set of eyes, and then it will be submitted to Susan's office.
Thank you, because I know I've done these grants. They are not an easy process.
They're interesting. Some of the questions they ask for are really, really very interesting.
There's tricks to those.
There are.
And,
Yeah, there's a lot of keywords that they want,
supposed to use,
and
yes.
there are certain things that they look for. We are very fortunate to have a local representative representing us at the state, because we've gotten some helpful hints on how we need to do that, and we've actually already provided some information that she said is very helpful towards that advocacy work that she needs to do.
Well, what I want in the minutes is thank you, because I know this is not part of the police chief's job duties. You're doing it on our time, I understand that.
Sure, yeah.
But that is not what your job description is, so you are going above and beyond the duty in order to do something good for this village.
Well, I
You and
appreciate
Aaron
that.
both, so thank you.
Hopefully we get it done. That's the key, is
Hey,
get it done.
if you don't apply, you don't get
That's
it.
it. That's exactly right.
That's,
790, is that for the whole state or just Salt County or what?
The 790 is just for Village Waynesfield.
Just for the bill?
Yeah.
Could do some good things with that.
Oh.
Yeah, again, I want to reiterate, that is not a guarantee.
Yeah.
And even if the state comes back and says, we'll give you 25,000, you know what? That's better than,
25,000.
that's better
more than
than,
we got.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely right.
excellent. And it doesn't cost us anything other than your time,
Correct,
which is valuable,
yeah.
and Aaron's.
Yeah.
But thank you, because
Yeah.
I know that's not an easy process.
She gives up the lunchtime to do the paperwork.
There are institutions that have full-time plus employees that do nothing but write state grants, and it's a laborious
Oh, yeah,
job,
yeah.
so, thank you.
Any other questions for Nathan? Do you have a time frame on that, Nathan? I mean, is there?
This would be for
application?
so the application they'd like to see in by January 1st, it would be for the 24-25 biennium budget, which I believe starts in July of 2024. Okay. And if I understood all that correctly.
Do you know when what the time frame is for notification then, would be, well, if you get any money, when you?
Yeah, it has to go through all the subcommittees and all that kind of stuff, so I don't. I'm hoping, if it's for the July, assuming they don't have to extend the budget talks and all that kind of stuff, maybe by July 1st we would know something. That would be hopeful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, administrative report, okay, you can read it for yourself. Any questions there, I'll do that Thursday, you can answer any questions you may have.
I would like for the next meeting, Mayor, to have a report about exactly what the total amount of money is that we've received from Gov Deals for the equipment that we've sold. I know it's substantial. I know that the village employees, Aaron and I think Sarah might have been involved in that, and Keith has been involved in that. Those employees have done a great job at getting equipment that was sitting basically in rusting, turned over into cash money for the village, and I would like to know exactly what those totals are.
It's around 113. I'll let you know the exact.
Whoever, but yes, that's a nice, that's almost as much as we get in more 1% tax.
Now, is that going into the general fund or?
Yes. Well, the law says that if you sell something, the money you sell it for, whatever you sell it for, whatever money you use to purchase it, that's where it has to go. But we didn't purchase that, it was all given to us. So I'm assuming it all goes into the general fund. So some of the stuff, if we sold, like, the street sweeper that we sold, whatever monies that were originally used to purchase that street sweeper, whatever fund that came out of, those monies are supposed to be returned to that fund.
That total, that's over the years,
So that's this year.
just this year alone?
Mm-hmm.
You want just this year alone, or?
No, just this
Oh,
year,
okay.
this year.
All right.
And that leaves me in my issue. Hopefully, final questions from you, Chief Meyer.
We will, to add a little bit to that, I'm still waiting on the state to get back with me. Hopefully, Aaron and I are going to hopefully spend January, not all of January and February, but some of January and February pursuing some additional needed equipment through the military surplus. That's coming, but as is anything with the state, it's a very slow process, so we haven't forgotten about it, but we're hoping we have a mild winter and have some time to sit down, and because that's almost worse than writing a grant.
And that stuff we have to keep for a year or two.
So it's 1 year on our inventory, and there have been some changes in the requirements for use. We have to be able to articulate this being used for law enforcement purposes. Now, we can be very creative with that, but we have to show that we're using it for law enforcement purposes, and then after the 1 year time period, it goes off of the government's inventory, stays on our inventory until we decide what we're doing with it. And some of the equipment may get used longer than a year, but then once we're done with it, then at that point we can sell it. Allen County has been doing that for years. They have acquired a lot of money, and they have an auction every spring typically, that they sell a lot of military surplus stuff. And if you go past the fairgrounds on 117, on the south side of the road, directly across from the fairgrounds, that's kind of their storage facility, where they store all that stuff. They put that in specifically for the surplus.
On the fair with it practically.
Yeah, oh yeah, they use, they're able to use, I mean, they've gotten big excavators. Several years ago, they actually got a bunch of tents that they donated to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, that they were able to get from the military for free, had air conditioning and heating units with them, and the Boy Scouts only needed the tents, so they were able to sell the heating units and everything, and so, you know, everybody won. The state told me there was an agency that acquired hundreds of musical instruments, and of course the law enforcement agency had no need for that, but they held on to it for a year, and then they donated it to a local high school, and what they didn't need, then they sold the rest. So, I mean, there's different things that they can do, and yeah, I mean, it's a good program. I know it has changed some, so I want to, like I said, I want to talk with the contact at the state level to see what has changed and what the rules are. The rules are constantly changing, so we want to make sure we're abiding by that, of course, and go from there.
Thank you.
There's one or two things I'd like to mention about the leak on Westminster Street. I know Evans not here, but reading that the gasket was bad or not installed properly. How do we know how many of it wasn't installed? And the second question would be, I think Aaron said it passed the leak test, the pressure test, when they first installed it. That concerns me more, why it didn't show up right then.
They found it was installed at an angle instead of straight in.
Yeah,
When they found the leak,
but once they
did
pressurized
he
it,
explain it that?
yeah, but once they
Yeah.
pressurized it, it should have detected it.
He tried to explain that the best he could, just because there still was some gasket there. But then once the water had been going through and actually being used, then it just didn't deteriorate, but it actually moved the gasket.
I could understand if it was a longer period of time, but not that short of time. Not in 3 months.
It makes you question,
I'm sorry.
it makes you question after a year.
Right. I don't know, Tim, if Bob, what you're saying is it was installed at an angle,
That's what they
would
found
the
out.
use of that road put that angle down and pop that seal? What about the other ones? Were they installed at an angle? Was it, you know, any question?
That's my concern is if we have a certain amount of time warranty that these things are being covered. But let's say after the year, we have this problem all over the place. The only ones that are going to be responsible is us.
That'd be one thing to ask Measure. We
Sure.
get him to come to next month's meeting, Craig Measure.
So is there a
He
way
might be able to explain it a little more.
for us to do assessment on the pressure?
Well, we did.
They-
I
They
mean,
tried to-
for us to be able to maintain it, just to do our own pressure testing?
That would be a question to ask Aaron, but I doubt it.
I don't think he said any of the residents had any pressure drop.
Yeah, that's what he talked about, yeah, none of the residents had any pressure drop.
He explained the type of piping that they use. They said it has a sharp edge and it was not going in correctly. He said that's what happened. It went in at an angle, and it pushed that gasket, and then over time, it either maybe tore it a little bit or just allowed it to roll out of, there's usually an indentation where that gasket sets, and you might have rolled it out a little bit. And then just with the usage, and then, you know, being in the road where it was at. You know, truck
With the
traffic.
size of that line and the water going through it, it's not gonna take long for it to happen. To answer your question about the 3-month period,
It's
it's
still,
not gonna take long for that to happen with that much water and pressure going through it. When they first put it on, yes, it did pass, it probably did pass the pressure test. But with that much traveling through it, installed wrong, then that would cause it to go in that short of time to help try to answer your question.
but I understand Tim's concern. Short period of time, and then, you know,
And how did they know
long
it was
term,
put in?
what the
Well, because they
liability.
dug it up. They detected it, there was a leak in there, then they pinpointed to that area, and they dug it up and found it.
chlorine in the storm sewer.
Mhm.
That's why it didn't bubble up, it was
And they
leaking
test
straight into
for
the
it.
storm sewer. The overflow was just going
Does our
into the storm.
storm sewer go back down to the lagoon?
They tested it right there at that manhole at the alley between, across from Tim's house.
Yeah.
That alley there, there's a manhole in the middle of that street,
And
storm sewer.
another question I like, I just want you to remind me to ask Sharon. Seems like to me, if you, over how many million gallons you pump, those pumps that have to be running big time to keep up. Mostly the fact that you didn't use pressure. The residents did not use pressure, but we got this much water going out too. Something had to be running a lot more hard than normal. I had
And
to,
we just replaced those pumps on all three of those wells.
yeah, I had to.
Yeah, makes you kind of wonder,
Could be, make sure Craig Fisher's here next month, Mayor.
and that leads me to, item B in our old business, and we'll get to it, but to pass a resolution to pay them in full.
Yeah, and
That's something we need to think about. So,
And sometimes, because I'm familiar with contracts, you have a certain problem, but in certain areas, you have extended. It's just, say the water issue, you have that instead of a year, you extend that out.
3 more months.
Give us a little bit coverage. It's not gonna be 100%, but at least you get some extended out.
and Bob's right, let's have Craig here at the next meeting, because we need to have those questions asked.
I think what I would ask from a legal standpoint is, what does the warranty cover? Because to me, if it was installed wrong, the warranty covers usually, parts and labor, right? But if they install it wrong, to me, that's their issue, and it doesn't matter if it happens, within the 1 year warranty time or 2 years. If it was installed wrong, then they did it negligently. And there can still be legal ramifications from a legal standpoint. So that's what I would be asking, what exactly does that warranty cover? Does it cover improperly installed work? Because from a legal standpoint, it's from the time that you notice it. And some of the stuff, it could take, a year or two before you actually notice the defect or that they installed it negligently.
And if it was negligent, would that go back on, like, some states, I don't know if Ohio does or not, some states require contractors to carry liability insurance so that if they do work incorrectly,
We have a statute of repose for contractors, which is like 10 years.
Okay.
So that's where that's where I would like to ask what exactly the contract states on what's covered under the warranty and stuff like that. So, I mean, to kind of calm, Tim's nerves down, saying we only got a certain amount of time of this warranty work. Well, if it's done defectively, then you still have plenty of time. So technically, we've got to about next October.
So could the question we present to him be, did the same person do the gasket?
It's the contract, the contract, it doesn't, they're not gonna know who exactly.
It's gonna fall back to the main contractor.
Because it just falls back to the main contractor. But, certainly Jeff would want you at the next meeting to ask those kinds of questions to help us with that.
Okay. Mayor's Court report, there's $438 deposited in the general fund for the Mayor's Court account for the month of September. Old business.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 23-9-1. This would be the third reading of the zoning application fees.
It's like,
Bob,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty,
yes,
Nichols.
Yes. table it,
Good, good.
table it, oh, table it.
Is there,
I like that.
is there a deadline when this got to be paid off?
Well, this
When it's
is,
supposed to be paid off?
this is a motion that is Craig's, and he wanted us, and he didn't have an exact total and all this stuff last month. There's a lot of confusion around it, so we just did it as a motion, and it should have been done as a resolution. So I know that he needed it passed last week, or last month, for some reason, so, again, like I said, there's still other legal ramifications. So paying them is not that big of a deal. You guys still have time if there's defects that are going to be surfaced in the meantime. But that's really what this is we didn't put it down on paper, and we just did it as a motion.
I remember that, yeah.
And that's why I made the comment last month that all resolutions and ordinances should be presented beforehand. That way you guys have time to digest them.
So you go, table wait till Craig's here next month? What's everybody thinking? You gonna wait till, take this until next month?
We still hold part of it until the end of the year is up.
Okay, so, and when's your, next
No,
October?
I thought Messer said we don't hold any of it. We pay them in full, but there's a bond that is there that would pay for any issues. Like probably this, I would assume,
Their insurance or whatever.
there's a bond, he used the word bond. That there's a warranty bond or something. I don't know if it's a warranty bond, but he used the word bond that paid for it, that this would be paying them in full. Because I think, Tim, you asked that question about whether we were holding any money back or not.
Is there still stuff they have to do, like
So-
no, they've already done the
They've done it all.
land, filling in the dirt and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
they play in the grass.
So you're saying it'd be okay to go ahead and pass this then?
They've done the work, so they deserve to get paid legally.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if there's any defects, you have other recourses. They have the bond, you guys have the warranty to fall back on at a certain amount of time. If there's any other big defects, then obviously there's legal recourse later down the road. So withholding payment from them, I don't think is the right thing to do legally.
We need to make motions.
What's everybody thinking?
I like what the solicitor said. They did the work, they need paid, but
Yeah.
we have recourses to follow up.
And we have got that.
That issue that may not appear, but they may, hopefully they don't.
Or do we need to clarify that completely next month?
They're gonna have them do new business this time. You can, so I would say let's pay it.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 23-10-1, a resolution to appropriate the object cost to not exceed $1,739,976 for the West Walpole Street project and declare an emergency.
I'll second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Wolfie,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. We have to do that twice, Jeff, or is we do that the whole way?
We didn't suspend the rules, did we?
No.
Last month we just made a motion.
It was just a motion.
Okay.
So this is the resolution, so we need to suspend the rules and then pass it. Oh,
Sorry about that, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 23-10-1, resolution for appropriating the object cost to not exceed $1,739,000 for West Walpole Street project and declare an emergency.
I'll second.
Suspend the rule of 3 readings and declare an emergency.
yeah,
We should do that first time.
Right.
suspend the rules. So make a motion to suspend the rules for 3 readings and declare an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend the rules of 3 readings and declare an emergency to adopt resolution 23-10-1. Period.
Second.
You second that? Okay.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Now we have to make a motion
Pass.
to pass resolution 23-10-1.
You gonna include me in
Oh,
that?
Paul, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I skipped that one.
Make a motion to pass resolution 23-10-1.
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Walsey,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 23-11.
Now, suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules.
This in,
Yeah, I didn't.
We're doing the
Alright.
back pay, right?
yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution, suspend the rule of 3 readings and declare an emergency. Resolution to back pay village administrator Aaron Bender, back pay for working on-call duty certain weekends between October 22nd and October 23rd, and declare an emergency.
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
No.
Ball,
No.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey,
No.
Nichols.
No.
Yes.
Was it a tie? I'm sorry.
Yes.
And then you said yes?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 23-11.
Hey, let's, hold on a sec. What I'm looking up is if there is, I don't think the mayor can break a tie on suspending the rules of 3 readings. Therefore, I think it just needs to go on to its first reading. Why don't you guys move on to the next one while I look this up real quick.
Sarah, what was this money about?
That, the first one that we did it last month.
The 45-35, yeah.
That's, Nathan's grant. When we did it last month,
Okay.
the Ogden County Auditor, I spoke with her, and when she explained to me, I put in the wrong numbers on this side. It's supposed to say, nothing on the original amount and, budget amount, et cetera. And she told me to go ahead and fix it at the next council meeting. So all it's saying is the same thing it said before. I just had it wrong with the money amount on these 2 sides.
So do we have to then approve the fixing of it?
Yes. We're just gonna,
Declare.
Last month, we just did an emotion, didn't we?
we did an emergency last month because Nathan had to that had to be done within 30 days. And then gave it to her, so it was still considered I could do it, but the numbers are wrong. I was saying I added it to the entire budget.
Okay.
And I didn't know. I'm sorry.
So are we making a motion then for the correction of this?
It's an amendment.
Ordinance, isn't it?
It's an ordinance, an amendment to the original
Yeah.
ordinance.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 20,
Declare an emergency.
declare an emergency, to adopt ordinance 23-11-4, an ordinance to amend annual appropriations ordinance and declare an emergency.
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-12, 11-4, an ordinance to amend annual appropriations ordinance and that's it.
Second.
Boss,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
All right, let me jump back in here. For resolution 23-11-1, the back pay. When you were trying to suspend the rules, it has to be passed by 3/4 of the members. The mayor cannot break up the tie on that one. So therefore, the emergency failed. Therefore, we can make a motion to put it on its first reading.
Do a third reading, okay. I'll make a motion to do the 3 readings for resolution 23-11-1. Resolution,
Put on its first reading.
put on first reading. Resolution to pay village administrator Aaron Bender back pay for working on call during certain weekends between October 22 and October 23.
The second.
Boss,
Yes.
Ball, Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can just you can take the declare emergency language out, and that way for the second, third reading.
All right, I'm making a motion to suspend the rule of 3 readings and declare an emergency to pass ordinance 23-11. I skipped one, sorry. I got them out of order. I retract that, Sarah. My stack was out of order.
I didn't do
I make a motion to have the second reading of ordinance 23-10-6, the 2024 appropriations.
Second.
Boss,
You don't have that, it was from last month, it'll be this document. You
Yeah.
didn't pull it out of your
Oh,
pocket
is it
from
the
last
zoning
month.
stuff, or
That's
the,
the appropriations document. We're having the second reading of next year's appropriations, so that's the
Voted
document
on last month.
from the finance committee, that's from last month.
For the,
For next year.
appropriation.
So we can spend money next year.
yes.
Ball,
yes,
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walsey,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
so next month we will finalize that.
Next month we'll finalize.
Is there any changes to be made at all?
Hey, what?
Changes to be made at all?
They were made when we read it last month.
But you could still amend it, that's why you have 3 readings. You could still amend it.
What that is, no changes.
Right now, there's
Is
no.
that right, Sarah?
Yeah, there's been no change.
Okay, all right.
Make a motion to suspend the rule of 3 readings and declare an emergency to adopt ordinance 23-11-2, an ordinance to move $7,000 to the general fund from the acquired gov deal sales for the purchase of a new truck and to purchase the new truck. Can't do 2 things at once, Jeff.
No, this is just moving money to pay to buy the truck.
You know, and then it says, and to purchase the truck.
And to purchase the truck, yeah, that's it.
So just do it to move the 7,000.
Right, so, making a motion to suspend the rules of 3 readings, declare an emergency, in ordinance 2311-2, an ordinance to move $7,000 to the general fund from the acquired gov sales for the purchase of a new truck. Take out that language and purchase a new truck.
I'll second that.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes,
And just for my clarification, that the balance is in our appropriations for next year?
it's actually for this
Last
year.
year.
It's for this year. They've already bought the truck.
Yeah.
This is what we did last month.
It was actually approved last year's budget.
So
Who made the second, Miller, sorry, thank you.
So I make a motion to adopt ordinance 23-11-2, an ordinance to move the $7,000 from the general fund from the acquired gov deals for the purchase of a new truck.
I'll second that.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Can I suggest, or Jeff, would you agree that we need to move the purchase of the new truck to the new business and give it,
No, you can just do it right now, just,
well, it says screw the ordinance numbers up,
no, just do 23-11-6.
-6, okay.
So
So I,
the no parking one would be 23-11-5, so this one would be 23-11-6, and it would be an ordinance to purchase a new truck. Or to authorize Aaron to purchase a new truck.
okay, I make a motion that we suspend the rules of 3 readings to adopt ordinance 23-11-6, an ordinance to purchase a new truck at the price of $49,122.50.
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Make an ordinance, make a motion to pass ordinance 23-11-6, an ordinance to purchase a new truck at the price of $49,122.50.
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Under old business, Sarah, did you want to put the zoning ordinance?
23-10-1?
Yes.
Yes, I thought it'd be right with this one,
Okay.
the layout.
So you have an item G, everybody, it's to have the second reading of ordinance 23-10-1. Ordinance adopting new zoning regulations as presented. We'll make a motion that we have the second reading of 23-10-1, ordinance 23-10-1. An ordinance of the new zoning requirements for the village of Waynesfield. Yeah, 23-10-1.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walty,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. New business? Sarah, what are we amending the appropriations for here? 23-11-1. We're moving something for tax collector.
Oh, yes, for, we get, like, a check each month from, like, the Always County Auditor. Well, when we go to move it, it goes into receipt. And what's left in one of them, because we have to put it underneath different categories,
Mhm.
the one category doesn't have enough for me to pay that part of it. It's like we.
So we're taking it out of the general fund, other account, an ordinance to amend appropriations document 22-11-1.
Second.
2 seconds, I'm sorry.
Tom?
Thank you, Tom. Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Make a motion to adopt ordinance 23-11-1, an ordinance to amend appropriations 22-11-1.
Second.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Did you say that one was
Make a motion to suspend the rule of 3 readings and declare an emergency to adopt ordinance 23-11-3, an ordinance authorizing the execution of the 2023 WASG Power Pool Participant Schedule with AMP Ohio.
I'll second that.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball, Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. I make a motion to adopt ordinance 23-11-3, an ordinance authorizing the execution of the 2023 WSG Power Pool Participant Schedule with AMP Ohio, AMP Power Incorporated.
Second it.
Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Are we, on this next list, are we pointing out that All Glades Regional Planning Commission then, going into this new one?
Sorry?
Are we pointing out the All Glades County Regional Planning Commission and joining in this new?
This Ohio Rural Planning
Ohio
Organization,
Rural?
Western Ohio Rural Planning Organization.
No, it's just, from what the email states, because I attached it to it for you all to read.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, pretty much states that they're creating it and putting it all together and you know, they have their first meeting and this is their next step for.
Did I read in here that this is a meeting that Aaron would be attending?
Yes,
Why is Aaron attending?
because
Not
he's
the
the
mayor?
administrator and, as I asked, they said most, the administrators would be doing this. Because when I talked to Andrew, that's what he stated.
Seems like, you know, I never like to pay somebody to lead, you know, I don't. Seems like something a council member or the mayor should be doing.
Will these meetings be at night or in day? Have they indicated?
He did not indicate that. They just sent this, and I asked him about the wordage of it and how to include, like, our stuff in there, and he helped me with that, but that was not indicated.
Okay. Because I knew the regional planning commission meetings at night.
Are you saying that, you were saying, Ms. Nichols, that you were worried about, like, Aaron having to go at night and us paying him, but he would be salary?
I understand that. I just think that this is a planning organization for future things. And it seems to me that the mayor or someone from the village council who's looking at the future for the village should be involved. I understand Aaron's participation, but it seems like, you know, the leadership of the village, in the terms of the mayor specifically, should be attending these meetings.
I think only because with the administrator, Aaron has more knowledge of the ins and outs of all that as well. I personally myself, talking to Andrew, think he'd be the best candidate per se. I mean, I know you said he was going to this, because that's mostly what it's gonna be, are the village administrators.
I mean, the rest of council thinks I'm all wet, speak up.
I guess I don't even.
This is a regional planning organization, so they're gonna be looking at,
That's not that what you got in your hand.
yeah, my understanding of
No.
a regional planning organization is they would be looking to try to bring large business and industries into the
Yeah.
community, into the West Ohio regional area. Certainly Aaron would have knowledge about what our infrastructure would be, but in terms of leadership, mayors generally attend some of these meetings.
I'm right there with you.
Well, Lisa, if we pass this, I mean, that doesn't lock anybody in. Is that
Well,
correct?
somewhere in here it says Aaron. Yeah, somewhere in this ordinance it says Aaron, and I can't remember, I didn't highlight it.
Oh, okay.
So that's my question. We are putting into a resolution
Under section 1.
the responsibility for Aaron to do this.
Are we saying this is?
Yeah.
I don't see his name.
What's that?
I guess I don't see his name.
Under section 1, down towards the bottom.
Section 1, the
Mayor
mayor,
appoints the village administrator as a representative on the Gates County Subcommittee.
so we're delegating that responsibility to Aaron. That's my question.
We're talking about growth. Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
that's,
That has nothing to do with them.
other than knowing what the infrastructure of the village would be.
Right. But then that would be coming back to him. Right?
I don't have any problem with joining the group. I question delegating the authority to Aaron, the responsibility to Aaron, and adding more to someone who already has a ton on his plate. And possibly the mayor could be doing it.
I'm right there with you.
I would like to know more information, why was this created? And why was it?
It's probably, I mean, I don't know him, I speculate, you know, Lima has a Lima Regional Planning, and they actually pay a full-time person to do that. And they try to go out and get large business and industries and to develop more jobs within the community. So what they're trying to do, my speculation would be that what they're trying to do is create something for West Central Ohio that gives us a larger area and a larger constituent to try to pull somebody into this region to increase jobs and work.
As I said, we held the first meeting in 7 counties. Was all Blaze County represented?
That's, yes,
Who represented all Blaze County?
this I'm assuming this
Could be the engineer,
Andrew Ballmer.
Yeah.
Elgin County engineer, probably.
Okay.
And probably one of their commissioners, of the county, I would think. I'd think commissioner had to be involved too.
If I may speak up, I think in Spencerville, someone from the Lima Regional Planning Commission came, and I'm not sure if this is what they were talking about, but if you look at the paper attached to it, it says it's a Rural Transportation Planning Committee. I think the majority of it has to do with transportation issues like road construction, road reconstruction, ADA compliance with sidewalks, stuff like that. When he came to the Spencerville meeting, he brought massive long list of projects that they're looking 10 years out.
Mhm.
And so obviously Aaron's gonna be involved in whatever construction projects that have to do with the roads and sidewalks and stuff like that within the village, and he's gonna be the one that's gonna know all that. I know the village administrator from Spencerville attends certain meetings like this. I don't know if this is the exact same thing or whatnot, but I can see why they said the village administrator, because they're the ones that help get funding, the regional planning commission, and maybe even this Western Ohio Commission is involved in helping get funding, helping get grants, stuff like that. And so maybe they can help Aaron get grants for whatever projects throughout the village that may be needed.
Then the ordinance is worded incorrectly.
I didn't make the ordinance.
No, or something, no, I'm not blaming you.
Yeah, it came from Ogden County.
Because it's talking about the Lima Allen County Regional Planning Commission, not this Rural Transportation Committee.
Western Ohio Rural Transportation. And whether Lima Regional is heading it up, I don't know.
To be honest, if there's 7 counties involved, you can't just back no.
Probably the whole western,
Big eye.
northwest Ohio or this Lima region. Yeah.
You talking about Allen, Always, Hardin, Howard.
Whereas the Lima is in voluntary association.
Do we know when this meeting is gonna take place?
Are they, is
Hasn't
Lima
been
trying to
decided
get
yet.
more grant monies? Is that what they're doing?
They had a huge list. of-
Lima, it's Lima and they need a bigger base.
Well, and it's for the whole Allen County or Ogden County development and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
It's the Lima Allen County Regional Planning Commission. I mean, Lima grows, we could grow. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my objection is without merit. I don't know.
Be nice, they
Maybe you can invite that Andrew Balmer to come explain it to you guys. If he's willing to come next meeting.
Like, if we had more information, we might be able to make decisions.
I just hate to delegate, and Aaron's not here to say yes or no or whatever and give us his opinion, but to delegate additional responsibilities to Aaron when we don't even know what for sure we're doing.
Right.
I mean, if it does have to do with bringing more in, he has more knowledge than anybody on the
No, I'm not-
infrastructure and everything on that, you know. what I mean?
Yeah, if it's, but can you see where I'm seeing two different things?
Yes,
Okay, that's my whole thing.
that's why I said, if it has to do with the
Yeah.
bringing new in and with the infrastructure and stuff, he is the
Absolutely.
most
Mhm.
qualified to do it, I guess I'd say, depending on what it involves, is we need more information on it.
I agree with that 100%, Mr.
Well,
Flores.
Why don't we just table it till next month's meeting?
Can we, Sarah, can you reach out to Mr. Ballmer and ask him
Come.
if someone could come and give us more information?
I could talk to him.
Okay, see, and if it has to go through Lima Allen County, maybe they can come and do the same dog and pony show they did at Spencerville and talk to us about it. I mean, you know, I'm all for growth, I just,
So are we tabling this until we have further information? Does that have to be resolved
you know,
or
just don't do
amended or
anything, just
anything?
move on.
Okay.
I think that's how we do it.
Yes, that's where we're gonna pass the applications.
They reached out to you?
It was- Yeah, it was like, they send like group emails, like everybody that would be involved, it was like that.
Because my
And then
look
I
is,
emailed him back and asked him why, like who was usually a part of this, and then,
my experience with, Allen County Regional Planning Commission, I've been nice to Joe. Yeah. They do it to benefit one side,
Next thing,
but
Consolidated County,
the valid boards don't get answered.
it's Mr. Drew, the Oxford.
I don't know, but I kind of feel like they're trying, I don't know, we just need more information.
Mhm.
We just
Yeah,
need
I
more-
definitely
Trying to
would
get
like
everybody
to.
else to help them to grow?
Pretty much. Nathan, and just for my general knowledge, do you have any idea how many total hours Mr. Hume worked last year? Because I know we budget for him as a part-time, but I know he doesn't work
Right.
that many hours.
I don't have it right offhand. We'd have to pull that off the bill. Yeah.
But it's not consistently,
He's not working, I mean, he could work up to 20 hours a week, and it's generally 8 to 10 hours a week.
okay.
But
Well,
like
I'm not
this
saying
last,
we shouldn't give him a raise, I
yeah,
just,
and I will say, like this last pay period, he was out of town, holidays, he didn't work at all in his last pay period.
and the other thing I would ask you, I know that, in the past, we've had 2 part-time officers, and is that something you're still considering, or are you still, you're okay with the one?
We did not appropriate the funds next year for a second officer. Council passed an ordinance that allows me to hire up to 40 hours a week. However, with the way the funds are appropriated in order to cut our budget, there would not be money in the budget to
Okay.
have another officer.
No, we haven't had one this year.
Correct. Well, and quite honestly, just to speak very frankly, the need for law enforcement right now is at such a high level that I would be apprehensive to hire someone part-time at the wage we could offer, knowing that there's a lot of opportunities out there to make a lot more money in a full-time capacity, and the concern would be, there'd be multiple concerns with bringing someone on in the climate that we're in currently.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rule of 3 readings, declare an emergency, setting the wages and salaries for the employees of the village of Waynesfield.
Second.
Who's second? I apologize. Thank you. Fox,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Waltsey.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 23-11-3, a resolution setting wages and salaries for employees of the village of Waynesfield.
Second.
Fox,
Yep.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Waltsey,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
So section 2 doesn't apply.
So, on Nathan's ordinance on no parking, you guys wanna do this under emergency and just get it done, or you wanna have 3 readings?
I think-
I mean, have you heard anybody that doesn't want those removed?
No, I've not heard any. The only question was, can we move those? Nobody said, can we leave them there? But once they're down, somebody may say, hey, I want it, you never know till after the fact. But I've heard from 2 residents that live along through there that have asked to have those removed, but,
That's my only concern, is if we do it by emergency, we don't give residents notice and allow maybe a resident who doesn't want them to remove the opportunity to come into council and say something. I mean, that's my only concern.
and what you could do is you could have your first reading tonight, and if
Right.
you don't hear anything by the December meeting, you could pass it then. You've
That's a
had an
motion.
opportunity to talk to your neighbors or whoever and,
Right.
and get feedback that way. I mean, you could always suspend the rules on a second reading as well.
No, we have an effective date, right, so we get the lines painted like you mentioned.
Sure, it would, yeah, I mean, the guys are not gonna be able to just run right out there and remove the signs right away. They've got other things that are higher priority, but, again, the curbing, I believe the contract, I'll have to check with the administrator on that, but I think the contractors have to mark that, accordingly anyway. So if not, then it'll be our guys, cause I know we've painted curbs and stuff before, our guys have.
Can they do it in the sun?
Well, again, that's the other thing we'd have to check. I mean, if you pass the ordinance, the signs might not be able to be removed until spring in order to allow the curb markings and stuff to take place. But there's no other curb markings right now. There's, fire hydrants that don't have any no parking around there, so conceivably people could park in front of the fire hydrants
There
right now.
used to be, Dave, and I don't know if that's still, some of the signage that's up, but like, I know on Ohio Street, you came back, there were so many feet back, and there was a sign that said, no
Right.
parking from here
From here
forward.
forward, yeah, here's the sign.
So those kinds of
Yeah.
signs could be put in place, even if we
They
didn't have.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely they could. And I would even recommend maybe looking at something like that, you know, from here to corner, you know, something, there's specific signs that have language like that. Sometimes that does confuse people a little bit, thinking the whole side you can't park on, but with the amount of space that we're talking, if you just had a sign before the alley, before Dollar General, those two places, that'd probably be fine.
Well, I'd make a motion to have the first reading of ordinance 23-11-5, an ordinance to remove the no parking signs on the north side of West Wapakoneta Street.
Second. Pick a name.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
All right. Any more old business? New business?
I'd like to thank Sarah for doing such a great job on the agenda. I know she worked hard on it this month, and I do think the meeting went much better. Of course, I should let Jeff do that.
I meant to ask just, for Nathan, when we test the emergency weather sirens, on Saturday, how do they test that? The reason I ask, it's never the same time. So,
And it's never as long.
okay, what I'm saying is, Mr. Yes, they go to 6 o'clock. Are we gonna get it at 6:13?
No, the sheriff's office remotely sets the sirens off in the county.
Okay.
Dispatcher has to go in and remotely,
Okay,
activate that. If she's on the night, he or she, they're on a 911 call, or if there's something else going on and they can't get to it right away. Sometimes it's at noon, sometimes it's 12:30, sometimes it's at 12:11, you know, it just depends on, and sometimes, they have a maximum run time of 3 minutes, which is a really long time.
yep,
You betcha.
Typically, if I'm home and I hear it go longer than a minute, I'm on the phone calling them saying, hey, the siren's still going off, and they're like, I forgot, and they forgot to hit the off button.
well, how do they know
Oh my
if it's working? You notify them?
No, they can see typically, I think on their
They can
console,
hear
they
it?
can see where it's activated. Now, there have been, malfunctions in the past where, like the one in Waynesfield ran, and they said, we hit the button, and I said, well, it's still going, so then, you
That's
know.
the night of the tornado.
No, that was
What I'm
a
saying
different
is-
situation, but,
If it don't go off, how do they know that the sound is being put out? How do
yeah, yeah. So, the short answer is, I believe on their console, they can see whether or not it's activated. If, for some reason, there's a tornado warning, that's why they test it, but if there's an actual tornado warning and it doesn't go off, you know, whether it's me or someone within the community is gonna say, we have a tornado warning and the siren didn't go off, what's the deal here? Because they did have that problem, I believe, in Minster a couple years ago, where everyone else in the county went off, but that one didn't. And so, but it's completely operated.
Well,
by the
that's,
county.
it makes me feel better knowing that it's activated right then. It's not something
Yeah.
that does automatically.
No, they go in and they have to manually activate it to turn it on.
Yeah, that's,
That was like 3 minutes late.
it's longer than that. It's never the same time.
If it goes for 3 minutes, I feel sorry for the people that live right here in this first block.
I've been up here in the office when it goes off, and it's louder. It is louder.
Yeah.
I've been over to the house working.
Solicitor's report?
Did we?
I just wanted to ask about re-election. Did we have every position filled, or I have some villages that have had no mayor run, and we have no mayor come January. So I'm just making sure that we're not gonna have any vacancies. Alright, cause there's gonna be a nice time to go through vacancies and stuff like that, so. Very good.
Get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Bach,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.